Welcome back to TMZ Sports. Mike Babcock here. We are very lucky to have this man right here, AEW World Champion Swerve Strickland. Swerve first. Whose house is this?
Swerve's house, man. You know the deal.
This is
You know the deal.
TMZ. This is TMZ Swerve edition today. Um, let's just start right here because
Yes,
you,
absolutely.
you can't not talk about this being on the table here. First, I want to ask you after what it means to be the first black world champion in AEW, but just
Yes.
just first of all, as a wrestler, one of the biggest promotions in the world,
Mm.
to be champion. Period. What's that mean to you?
Man, well, on top of the fact that like we have literally the best roster assembled in wrestling,
Yeah.
to be at the top of the mountain, that's huge honor. It also shows like all the hard work that I had to do, how much I had to work to stand out that much more, to really bring something different and unique to the table, to be like even considered in like the higher tier. Because like when I came in, I was like, I didn't even debut on Dynamite on the prime, the
Yeah.
premiere show. I
Right.
came in
Right.
on Rampage.
Yeah.
I was like humble with the opportunity. I took every opportunity I could, whether it's like a minute backstage on a promo or like a battle royal, and then or just like something like was just like to honestly just create.
Yeah.
Took an opportunity. Every minute of TV time was precious, and there was an opportunity to really showcase who I am, create something, create a library, then use that library to bring it back to the forefront to build something for the future.
Right.
And that's something I learned like over the last 10, 15 years of my career. And all those lessons, all those opportunities led to getting me here.
Right.
Just to even compete for it.
Right.
Then to actually win it is like another several lessons and everything
Yeah.
to build on. And to just be the first of anything is like difficult because there's always going to be the criticism
Right.
behind it,
Right.
and blocking out all that stuff to focus on just what's more important,
Yeah.
what matters the most. And that's like creating a legacy, because if we all get into whatever type of industry, whatever business we want to do, to make a stamp and make a imprint on it on our own way.
Right.
And I feel like that was mine for the wrestling business and for All Elite Wrestling.
It sounds like you always had a plan, and I could see people saying, "Hey, I'm not on Dynamite. I'm not on the big show. Forget this." And but it sounds like you knew it was an opportunity to be seen, and you were going to make the best of it.
I have to,
Yeah.
I was told by Shawn Michaels a long time ago. He's like, we don't get the easy road. We're built like this because
Yeah.
we don't get the easy road. Some guys aren't built like us, and they get it like boom, like right away.
Yeah.
But we are built the way we are because we have the durability to go the long way.
Right.
Like
Are we
literally.
talking stature wise?
Stature wise, just
Right.
as people,
Right.
our
Okay.
souls,
Okay.
our souls, our energy, our grind,
Right.
just the people we are. Where there's like those people that's like, man, this guy's this
Can do that,
girl,
can handle that.
they can
Yeah.
handle that.
Yeah.
So they kind of get put in that position
Yeah.
because they know that they can, and that's where I feel like I was positioned in the wrestling world. It was like,
Yeah.
I don't mind the long road because I've shown that that's kind of where I always been, in
Yeah.
all aspects of life. Just going through life personally, I had to take the long road to get to here.
Yeah.
But I feel like Tony Khan saw that, he understood that, and he and also was building trust with them too, to know that I can be here at a TMZ, I
Yeah.
can be there on time with work, I can show out, I can perform. It's like it's not just like the in ring,
Yeah.
like because when it gets to this, like the tier and the responsibilities go even higher. You can't just be settled. We can't settle with just doing enough.
Right.
You have to kind of go the extra mile and do even more to show that not just best in the ring, but you're the best, like superstar. You're the best
Yeah.
employee. You're the best like at everything.
How does life change once you have the belt?
Yeah.
Are you doing more media? I'm sure.
Definitely more
what else?
media.
Yeah. How does it change?
More media, more responsibility. A lot of the things that a lot of people can get away with, I don't get away with anymore.
Yeah.
I can't just respond to everybody online.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
can't call out people like that.
Yeah.
Because now there's I'm representing All Elite Wrestling.
Right.
To
Yep.
the fullest extent. I'm not just representing myself. It's bigger than myself now.
Yeah.
All Elite Wrestling is like in like not only just that, my culture.
Yeah.
I got to represent in a certain different way, and I got to understand it's bigger than me. So I got like a lot of those selfish like responses, those emotions. They kind of got to go to the side and understand what's the bigger picture. also performing in ring. I got to
Yeah.
set the example. I got to set the pace. I got to set the standard
Yeah.
now. And that's tough when you have like guys like Adam Copeland setting
Yeah.
the standard as well
Yeah.
with the TNT title. And then you got like Osprey setting the
Yeah.
example as like big time match, 30-minute banger
Yeah.
on pay-per-views,
Right.
you know? And then, you got like uh, Roderick Strong
Yep.
in an international title. And like, it's just all these guys all over the place that can just like kill it at every single moment. It's like, where do I set the standard for myself and the wrestling business with this AEW World Championship? What separates me from everybody else?
How about the part being the first black world champion in AEW? And I mean, you're a role model. I'm sure you're a role model to a bunch of people before you got this belt. But being
Mhm.
champion and representation and what that might mean to young kids out there. How about that part of it? You ever think about that stuff?
I think about it every day, every single day. Um, just knowing, for me, my story is like I'm always getting knocked down. You see that on television.
Yeah.
I get knocked down, but I don't get back up, and I don't get pushed around for long.
Yep.
I always get back, and I always come right back at the same person or the same obstacle that knocked me down in the first place. And I feel like that's just a life lesson. Like, have I done wrong to warrant those knockdowns?
Yeah.
Absolutely. If you watch the show,
Right.
you know it. But that's life. We've all done wrong things.
Right.
We've all done bad things, but that doesn't mean we wallow in them and we
Yeah.
like sit with that. Like, those things do come around and knock us back down on our ass a little bit. But it's like, okay, how do I define myself at the end of that?
Yeah.
How do I make good with that on the other end? And you get back up, you go back to work, and you fight back, and you fight back, and you showcase, and you show yourself, show the world, show whatever that's knocking you down in the first place. Like, you can't keep me down, and that's the definition of what Swerve is at this stage of my career, at this stage of the television show, and at this stage as a face of the company. He understands, like, he has responsibilities. He understands he did a lot of bad things to get here, and he understands those things are going to come back around,
Yeah.
but that is not going to define his future.
All right. You talk about fighting. Christian
Yeah.
Cage, Double or Nothing, May 26th, live on pay-per-view. It's an absolutely massive match.
Yeah.
Preview it for me. Talk to me about it.
Man, me and Christian, our history together dates all the way back to August of 2023 at Wembley Stadium.
Yep.
We tagged together. I was the one that got put in the coffin by Sting and Darby Allin and lost. He has not forgotten about that. He has not forgiven me for that. I thought those things were could have just parted ways and we would just been good.
Move on from it.
Right, but he's also fostered Nick Wayne.
Right.
And we all know what I've done to Nick Wayne, at breaking into his father's wrestling school and beating him down and letting him. And so if anything, the patriarchy, the people that follow Christian, that's kind of created by me. If all the bad things I've done in 2023 created my enemies now.
Right.
So now it's like that's that ghost of my past coming back to haunt me. And Christian is not someone you want to take lightly. That's a former multi-time world champion. That's a legend in the industry. Don't let his age fool you. The man's still in peak physique.
Yeah,
Still.
no,
He
absolutely.
looks phenomenal. He's smarter than he's ever have been before as well. Like, daggers on the microphone. People believe him. And he's main evented AEW pay-per-views before. So that's someone I'm learning a lot from, but that's also someone I gotta be also more calculated, a lot smarter than. And once again, he's a multi-time world champion. He has the tenure.
Yeah.
I'm new.
Yeah.
But so the disadvantage there is wavering as far as the intelligence, but my physical is stronger than it's ever been before.
Right.
I've literally gained 30 pounds in the last 8 months,
Jeez.
I would say.
Jeez.
So, and just my relentlessness. I literally can inflict a lot of pain, and I put down Samoa Joe the same way. So I feel like I'm going to do the same thing with Christian, and I have a lot more tricks up my sleeve as well. So continue watching AEW Dynamite every Wednesday nights.
We're what are we like? We're 2 weeks out now. Less than. How excited are you? Are you nervous at this point? How do you feel as you've got this massive event in Double or Nothing coming up?
More excitement, more anxious.
Yeah.
I'm ready to get to it.
Yeah.
I don't really get the nervousness anymore. I'm excited to just get um literally my first pay-per-view title defense. I'm ready to get to it. I'm ready to showcase to the world what I have to offer as the new All Elite Wrestling World
Yeah.
Champion. I'm one of the very few to like literally start from the straight bottom to climb
Right.
all the way up to becoming a world
Yeah.
heavyweight champion and to be a main eventer. And I feel like I have one of the most unique stories
Yeah.
in not just All Elite Wrestling, but just wrestling industry, period. We've been filming a documentary about it behind the scenes with
Oh,
the
nice.
Lucas brothers.
Oh.
You know, they've been behind that. So there's a lot more nuance to the story as well that's going to be
Wow.
told on the other side of the thing. So that'll be coming out in like some time. So
That's amazing. So you
Yeah.
got a bunch going on. So you've got
that music,
wrestling, right? Talk to me about music because it's
yeah,
like not fair that you're having success in so many things. I mean, you're absolutely killing it, and it's
Yeah.
awesome. Talk to me about the music and just how
the music.
successful that's been.
I've been taught to rap by Montezi, my co-host of the podcast, which
Yeah.
our podcast just jumped from like the 200 slots all the way to top 20
No way.
on iTunes.
What is it?
Swerve City Podcast.
Awesome.
So on Apple Podcasts, we're now like ranked top 20 in the U.S.
That's amazing.
on music.
There's a lot of
genre.
podcasts out there too, and
There's
a lot of good
lot.
ones.
We're like
Yeah.
competing with like Ryan Seacrest
Yeah,
and stuff,
it's
which
a lot. That's
came a long way from just sitting on
super
beanbags.
impressive.
Sitting on beanbags doing IG live. So
Right.
we came a long way.
That's awesome.
But that man taught me how to rap, and then that we developed about 3 albums in the Swerve City catalog. And there's some notable like features and stuff in there, like Music Soul Child is with us on there,
Wow.
like Flatbush Zombies are on there
Nice.
with us. We have like
How
like
cool is
John
that?
Connor,
Yeah.
Mickey Fax.
Wow.
We accumulated a lot of
Legit
great
people,
relationships.
Yeah.
But that was the joint podcast as well.
Wow.
So that led me all the way to like getting my reps in to working with like Flash Garments, who
Yeah.
did my entrance music, with Prophet, who produced the entrance music, who
Yeah.
has 2 Grammys with working with Donda on Donda Project and Kanye West, you know. And so like getting in the studio with those guys, that's developed the Big Pressure song. And we have a joint album coming out soon
Right.
called
Big Pressure got like millions.
Millions.
Right. I looked on Spotify before, like
Yeah.
remix. I mean,
We have another one
Yeah.
coming, a Trill remix with Bun B featured, which
Oh,
that's
wow.
just been recorded. A music video will be coming to that soon. So
Wow.
we're gonna remix that again and do a down South Houston version of
Wow.
that. So Flash Garments, him and Mosh came up with a new signature shoe. So that every match so the pay-per-view at Dynasty,
yeah.
I wore my first signature shoe, and I'm continuing wearing that every week. So there's a lot going on, but the music has just been unreal. I got a feature with Benny the Butcher
Wow.
on my solo project, Swerve the Realist. You
Wow.
Couldn't Be Me.
Are you
album.
just reaching out to these people, or
Yeah, it's like I have good connections,
Yeah.
like that just find a way to
Yeah.
like, you know, there's a lot of great wrestling fans in the music industry. Rick Ross being one of them.
yeah? Oh,
you know?
yeah. And you've got all those guys, a lot of the guys involved too. I mean,
Yeah, just integration. Really finding out like, man, like there's a big open spot that's kind of like here for the taking.
Yeah.
So I just figured I'd just slide in and
Walk
take
right
it.
in, right?
Yeah. And I have a big love and passion for music. I learned it. I'm still learning it. I'm developing. I'm building relationships, like bridging the gap a little bit too, to make it not feel like so much like pro wrestler playing musician.
Right.
But like, no, these are 2 separate things.
Right. You are.
But
a
I find
musician,
ways to
right, who also
blend.
wrestles.
Yeah.
And vice versa.
Yeah.
What? I know you got to run in a second. What is there a dream collab either that you would make music with? Somebody
Oh, man,
would
there's
do
so
something within
many.
the ring. That's a musician.
Oh man. To me, the real cool, unique thing is finding artists, rappers, and of any type that haven't really been seen
Yeah.
in the wrestling space that you wouldn't expect to connect the dots with. So for me, like a Tyler Creator would be like one of those guys that would just look like they just jump on and have a lot of fun,
Yeah.
a lot of energy, but also one of my favorite artists ever. ASAP is another one.
Yeah.
I just was down in Miami with this Puma
Yeah.
release, and I got a lot of free stuff from ASAP and them. So shout out Puma and ASAP and Concepts for hooking that up, and Shirt King Fade for the link there. So there's a lot going on.
Awesome.
Much.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
You real quick. You were in the military, right?
Yes, sir.
Right. Did that do anything? How did that prepare you for what you're now doing? Was there anything
Yeah.
to take from that?
A lot. I jumped in at like 17 years old. I was already on a bus down to Fort Jackson, South Carolina.
Yeesh, I could not believe that when I read that. Young,
Yeah,
man.
like 2 weeks after I graduated high school, I was
Really?
going to basic training, and that was that got me ready to like do stuff on my own. It's not going to get done if you don't do it.
Yeah.
You don't take the initiative to get up and just grind and go. I was like I grew up with my mom and sisters, and my dad was like in Buffalo, New York at the time. I was in Pennsylvania, so I only saw him in summers and stuff. So
Right.
most of the time I was with my mom and my
Right.
sisters and stuff. So as a man, like I'm glad I was able to go into my adulthood through the military rather than like because I didn't really have my dad there in the
Right.
household with me. So it was really cool to just be able to just like get up and learn to be a man on my own around other men of other different walks of
Right.
life in the hard way. The original like military,
Right.
old
Right.
school,
Yeah.
get up in 4 a.m.
Right.
We're doing this, and then like also learning how to be on part of a schedule.
Yeah.
4 a.m. this, you got 6 o'clock chow hall,
Right.
and then like getting in the uniform here, having this, learning organization,
Yeah.
learning like simple things that I feel like a lot of people, a lot of men in today's society miss those things,
Yeah.
but I kind of got those early on. So, little that I know is really preparing me for pro wrestling to be able to just
Right.
figure out and just create things and be like disciplined, being like, having urgency, moving with a sense of purpose.
Right.
And like having integrity, all those things like warrior ethos and the soldiers' creeds and all those things. Like,
Yeah.
man, these things relate a lot in life, and then applying those things and putting into pro wrestling. Like without that early upbringing, I don't think I would ever get to this point.
Wow.
Yeah.
Who would think? Right. U.S. Army, AEW World
Yeah.
Champion, but there's
It's not even
you
about just the
actually-
military. It just
Yeah.
teaches you about life.
Yeah.
And how to be an adult and how to be a responsible man should be,
That's awesome. Before I let you go, anything else you want to say about Double or Nothing? Any message to
Man.
Christian? Anything for the fans?
Christian has faced off with a lot of great legends that this industry has to offer, icons, but he's never faced off against somebody like me. He's tagged with somebody like
Yeah.
me. He's never faced off against someone like me. I truly believe I'm one of the most unique performers in wrestling, and I'm only like just really scratching the surface of that and just really slipping my foot into a comfortable shoe. I'm just getting there.
That's scary.
So that's why I'm telling Christian, like, there's a lot to be worried about with facing off with someone like me. Texas Death Match was the last time I was here on the West Coast in
Yeah.
Los Angeles. I've done some things that a lot of people have never seen before, that scared a lot of people and put a different viewpoint on who I am as a performer, as a man, and as a like competitor. And that's something that Christian should always be concerned about, worried about, and literally watch out for, because I don't stop coming at you. I call myself the boogeyman of pro wrestling because I literally have like no remorse for certain things. Don't let this professional look,
Right. You're
this
'cause
conversation.
you're a nice guy, But
Yeah.
I know you're.
I've done
dangerous
some of the
too,
most
right?
dangerous. I've been in some of the most dangerous matches of like U.S. history.
Right.
So
That's a fact. You can't miss it. AEW Double or Nothing, May 26th. Thank you, Swerve. I
Thank you.
appreciate it, brother. Thank you
Appreciate
for
it, man.
coming.